Great. So welcome to our block revision. Welcome to our block revision for management accounting paper. We are now doing key items, the specific things you are expecting to be in the August 2026 sitting for this particular paper. So we are now touching on serious things, on key matters for this particular paper. And therefore, we have to be serious, all of us. So the question we are going to do is under limiting factor analysis, which comes from topic number 8. It is an application of a concept covered in topic number 7 called absorption and marginal costing. So one of the applications of marginal costing is what we have as break-even point analysis. Number 2, the limiting factor analysis. In that particular concept, we are looking at the classification of costs, which is done in topic number 2. So here, it is extended, that is application of costs, or what we call classification of costs based on variability. That's why we have variable cost, fixed cost, semi-variable cost, and of course the step-up cost. So when you get to topic number 7, we now look at them into 2 categories. We only look at all the variable costs and all the fixed costs. When you get to topic number 8, under the limiting factor analysis, we are saying as you make a decision, right? This is what you need to put in place. Number 1, all variable costs, right? All variable costs are relevant costs in decision making, right? Then all fixed costs are irrelevant costs in decision making. Whichever type of fixed cost you'll be having, whether fixed production or fixed non-production, as you make decision, right? So in decision making here under management accounting, we are saying that all fixed costs are irrelevant costs in decision making. So even though the examiner will tell you to give us the resulting, right? Resulting net profit, right? As you give the resulting net profit at optimal point of operation, already you've made a decision by the help of the variable cost. So the fixed cost just comes in to help you get the resulting net profit. But in terms of decision, you make it based on the variable cost. So if you lose this principle, you will be able to see great places. You'll be able to see great places if you apply this concept in decision making. And that's what we are about to look at. Now let's read what we have been given in the question. The question says that Urembo Lifestyles offers 3 different types of body, grooming, and fitness services. These are salon, gym, and barbershop, using the same staff, right? Various estimates for the next year have been made as follows. We call them budgeted activities, right? Estimated or expected or anticipated results or activities. Now, in this case here, as you look at that question, what I also need to say, sometimes organizations have a greater market opportunity, right? There's a greater market share or niche they're supposed to do. So the market, right? The market demands maybe 50,000 units, right? 50,000 units. But if this organization, it has been able to utilize all its available resources, right? All the resources that the company owns have been taken to take care of this demand. All the items taken to the production, you find that the company can only manage to provide, right? So we talk about production capacity, right? Production capacity of this organization is only 42,000 units. Is only 42,000 units of all the variety of the products they can provide to the market. So with this challenge, the production capacity is only 42,000. The market is actually in need of 50,000 of 50,000 units. So in this case here, the company must engage a management accountant. The company must now go the decision-making process. They have to check if we produce item A and stop producing item B, or if you produce all units of product D and produce only half of product A, what will we have as the resulting net profit? That decision is made under this concept, and because of this limited production capacity, which is less than what is demanded, they have to sit down and do what we call the rationing of the quantity of each product they are going to produce, with the aim of getting the optimal resulting net profit. So it is because of the limited resources that we are going to do limiting factor analysis, which is a common case in the real business environment, right? You want to study, but again, you don't have enough money. So what do? Right? You want to do this production, the market needs more, but you have a late capacity to even serve half of that particular market. So the limiting factor analysis brings us with speed, or to speed and be able to look at what is there. So we can see the service fee. Now, being that these are not physical goods, we don't talk about maybe selling price per unit, but we talk about the service fee. So maybe per client or per hour. Then the variable material costs is given there per unit or per client, 140. Variable labor costs, 60 shillings. The fixed overhead costs are given as 90 shillings per client or per unit. What did we say? We said that all fixed costs are irrelevant cost in decision making. So as we get to the step of making decision, the fixed cost will not even be mentioned. And therefore, the 90 shillings you are having there is regarded as hot air during decision making. Then we are given labor hours per client, right? Good. So what is the limited resource here? Because again, as we do this, the examiner will first of all tell you, can you define limiting factor, right? So I hope you are now okay with that. Number two, identify the limiting factor or resource. Once you identify the limiting factor, then you will be able to give us what we call the deficit. Of course, in the process of identifying the limiting factor, will help us to get the deficit. So the next thing, instead of coming back to deficit, we'll be told to give us the optimal, right? Optimal production mix, right? Then of course, you will finalize what we call resulting, right? Resulting optimal net profits, optimal net profits. Now, in rare cases that of course is possible, you'll be told to give us what we call the units to be outsourced. Units to be outsourced. Good. And be able to see how this outsourcing practically works in most cases when you go to buy a product from the market. You'll be able to see. So they are actually applying it, but they don't understand that that is a way of outsourcing that is covered in class. The number one, the fixed cost for the year is expected to be 400,000. The budgeted maximum demand of clients for the next year for the services is estimated as follows. So we have 90. So I want you to check something here. There's 90 shillings, right, under the salon, and we are expecting 3,000 clients in the salon. We have 1,000 clients, or 120 shillings times 1,000 clients expected in the gym, and we have 1,500. We have 1,500 clients expected in the barber shop. So what are we getting as the total amount? What is the total amount? What is the total amount? Total amount, total amount. Somebody? That good. So what are you getting? What are you getting? What are you getting? Ah, 450? 450,000, right? 150,000, so we call it fixed. We call it fixed costs. In the event, right? Remember I said this is a final touch session. Why are we multiplying by the overheads? Yes, this is a final touch session. You do this question, you join this class, you get to exams, what happens? Everything appears the way you've been able to do it in class. Now, what is happening is, why are we multiplying the fixed cost per unit multiplied by the units that are expected to be produced? Now, look at our question. We have the fixed overheads as per the budget or estimated. So we have 90 shillings for salon, and we are supposed to serve 3,000. We anticipate to serve 3,000. That is 90 multiplied by 3,000 clients. Then we have gym 120 multiplied by 1,000. Then we have barber shop 1,500. We multiply by 40. So if you do that, you're able to see you're getting 450,000, right? Now, if you are not given additional information, number one, which is the expected fixed costs for the entire duration, you are supposed to come for the 450,000 that you're having here. But remember, that 450,000 is not the exact amount. Why? The company does not have the capacity, as per what we are able to see, or what we'll be able to see in the next few minutes. The company does not have the capacity to serve the entire 3,000 clients in the salon, the entire 1,000 clients in the gym, and the entire 1,500 clients in the barber shop. We want to see the actual clients that will be served based on the capacity of this particular organization. So where are we heading to after that? We are going, so we've been able to define what limiting factor is, right? You have a capacity that is less than what the market is demanding, and therefore you have a limitation, right? So, so we need to identify the specific limiting factor. Can we identify that limiting factor? We have been told that here we have the labor hours that is being shared for the three services. So what you can be able to look at is number one, can you look at the available information number 2 or number 3? Let's look at number 3. Number 3 says Urembo Lifestyles has a maximum of 9,900 labor hours available for next year. So let's look at available labor hours. So available labor hours is 9,900 hours, right? That is what we have. Good. And we have the clients that will be served in the salon, right? We have salon, we have gym, then we have, of course, a barber shop. So salon, we have 3,000, gym, we have 1,000, barber shop, we have 1,500. How many labor hours are needed for each of the three services? Good. So number one, in the salon, how many labor hours do we need to serve a client in the salon? How many labor hours do we need to serve a client in the salon? 2 hours. All right. So I'll come here and say times 2 hours. So that will give me 6,000 hours. In the gym, how many labor hours do we need to serve someone in the gym? A client is supposed to be given 3 hours in the gym. That is 3,000. In the barber shop, how many labor hours do we need to serve a client in the barber shop? 1.5 hours. So 1.5 times 1,500, what are we getting? 1.5 by 1,500, it gives us 2250. Can we add the total? Can you add the total? So total labor hours needed. Total labor hours needed. 11 to 50, right? 11 to 50 hours. Good. As per the resource masters of this particular organization, they are only able to provide a total of 9,900 labor hours. For the company to fulfill or serve 3,000 clients in the salon, 1,000 in the gym, 1,500 in the barber shop, it needs a total of 11,000 hours, 250. So the question is, do we have excess or we have less? Do we have excess or we have less? We have a deficit, right? Good. So the questions will be using a lot of terms. In one case, you'll find them talking about this as shortfall, right? Or shortage. Some will talk about it as deficit. Then, of course, others will say that is a shortfall. As a shortfall, right? Yes. So the shortfall here is the difference between what is available against what is needed. So how many labor hours are we lacking? We have a deficit of 13, a deficit of 1,350 hours. 1,350 hours. Good. 2,250 or 1,350? Somebody to assist there. The difference. 1,350, right? Yes. The difference between 1,900 and 11,250 and total is 1,350. Thank you. Now, It is because of this limitation, it is because of this deficit that we are forced to do the ratio and look at the most profitable product. It is because of this limitation that we are forced to make a decision, right? A decision has to be made to look at the optimal production mix. Do I need to serve only 1,000 clients in the salon and retain the 1,000 in the gym and have the 1,500 in the barber shop? That is a question that has to be solved in the decision room where people are now thinking logically, right? Great. So what are we supposed to do to be able to take care of that? Allow me to create some space here. Allow me to create some space here and explain this clearly to someone. I will be having the three products. So that is salon, right? Gym, and of course, barbershop. Good. Now we talk about service fee, which of course is like revenue. So service fee per person in the salon, I can see 300 shillings. I can see 390. I can see 200. Right? Good. From there, we go to all the variable costs. Remember, when you are doing topic number 7 itself, you are telling us we have variable production costs, we have variable non-production costs. When you come to this part, whether it is variable production or variable non-production, our focus is all variable costs are relevant costs in decision making. So as you work on the decision making process here, we must factor in all the variable costs. So that's why in most cases you'll find that the examiner is not even specifying or separating that this variable production, this variable non-production. No, you'll be told the variable costs are equal to this figure. So one of them I can see is material cost, right? So material cost, we know that one is almost 100% variable. Then we have labor cost. So material cost per unit, I can see 140. Then I can see 60. I can see 180. I can see 100. I can see 100 here. And I can see 50. So let's put them this way. So once that is done, we'll be able to get what we call contribution. Contribution per unit. So what is the contribution for the first product? You take 300 minus 140 minus 60. What are you going to have as the contribution per unit? It is 100 shillings, right? 100 shillings. Gym. What do we have for the gym? 110. Okay. Barbershop. 50. Right? Good. Barbershop will be having 50. Now, somebody saying that the camera is not okay. Do you have a problem with the camera? Confirm. Is it okay now? Perfect. Hope it is okay. It's okay. Thank you. Great. Now, if you are to make a decision, you not come here and tell us, gym is the most profitable product or service, then salon, and then you finish with barber shop. Maybe it is 110 because we need like 4 hours to be able to serve one person in the gym, right? And it is 50 in the barber shop because we only need 30 minutes to serve someone in the barber shop, right? So we cannot make a decision at this point and say this one is the most profitable product. No, we have to identify and know how many units of this limited resource do we need for each section, right? Then once that is done, we have to make sure that they are uniform, right? So let us move to the next step. What is our limited resource? Labor hours. So I normally prefer putting it this way. I put it as limiting factor. Limiting factor per unit. Now, already in this question, I know that limiting factor is labor hours. Why am I always avoiding using labor hours here directly? Because if you go to December 2022 sitting, limiting factor was quantity of raw material, right? If you go to April 2026 sitting, the limiting factor was machine hours. This limiting factor will keep on changing, right? It can be labor hours in this question. It might be machine hours in the August 2026 sitting. So this limiting factor is a constant, but the item will keep on changing. In our case here, we now put in bracket and say labor hours, right? Yes. So do we have the total labor hours? How do you identify the limiting factor? That is not captured here because the examiner told us specifically that labor hours is provided to the extent of 9,900 hours. We went ahead and looked at the total number of units to be produced, right? These ones here. And you're able to see that the total hours needed is 11,250. What the company can provide is 9,900. In that case, the moment you tell us that there's a deficit, a shortage, or a shortfall, you have been able to identify the limiting. Actually, in your August exams, don't be surprised if you're able to see these two things. Remember, additional information number 3 is telling us available labor hours is 9,900, right? Then number 4 comes in, information number 4 comes in and tells you available material is 7,500 kgs. Don't be surprised if you see that. If there's a scenario where information number 3 is not given, as in this question, that is what has helped us to identify the limiting factor. No, they have to give you the available. This one has to be there, right? The only case you will find in exams is that information number 3 is telling you available labor hours 9,900 hours. Available material is 7,500 kgs. Right? Now, then it means you have to check. Let me pick it from this point. So, salon, I'm just explaining that concept, gym, then of course barber shop. Still, we are serving 3,000 in the salon, or that's what the market demands, 1,000 and 1,500. 180, 100. Can we try 50, 50, 50? Good. Now, you are told that the cost per kg of raw material, right? So I have to bring information number 5 somewhere. Don't incorporate that, but just get to understand this. The cost per kg of material is 50 shillings. The cost per kg of material is 50 shillings. Let's say 50, right? Good. So if it is 50 shillings per kg, how many kgs do we need to produce a unit of a product in the salon? How many kgs? So we are told if 50 shillings is equal to 1 kg of material, and the company paid 140, right? Shillings, 140 to produce or serve one client in the salon. So how many kgs of raw material were actually used in the salon? How many kgs? So I'll simply take 140 times 1 over 50. In the gym, I'll be taking 180 over 50. In the barber shop, I'll be taking 100 over 50. So what are we getting? Can examiner give more than one limiting factor? It is not a limiting factor. No, it is the process of identifying the limiting factor. So I'm told this one is 2.8 kgs. Then material, gym, I'm told I need to divide by that will be 3.6 kgs. Then barber shop, 100 divided by 5, 50 will be 2 kgs, right? 2 kgs, good. So I'll be able to adjust this even to 17,500, maybe for you to get the concept. So 3,000 times 2.8, what will we have? Then 1,000 times 3.6, then of course 1,500 times 2. I'm able to see this one here as 3,600. This one here as 3,000. 3,000 by 2.8, what are you getting? Salon 8,400, right? So let me just make it. I want you to be the highest figure if possible. This plus this will be 9. Around that figure. Good. So 8,400 plus 3,600 plus 3,000. What will we have? Remember, these are kgs. Right? Kgs. So we talk about needed total material needed is equivalent to how many kgs? 27,500. How many? 15,000 kgs, right? Yeah, so we have 15,000 kgs. Good. You have to tell me something. The available material that the company can purchase is 27,500 kgs for the whole of that duration. What is needed for the company to fulfill what the market is demanding, right, is equal to 15,000 kgs. So do we have a deficit or a surplus? Look at what is available against what is needed. Is the company having a surplus or a deficit in terms of raw material? Is the company having a surplus or a deficit? There's a surplus, right? So we have a surplus of how many kgs? 12,500 kgs. 12,500 kgs, right? So look at it. I hope somebody has been able to learn some great concept here. It means in an exams, the examiner can tell you information number 3. The company has availed 9,900 labor hours. Information number 4, the company has availed 27,500 kgs of raw material. Information number 5, the cost per unit or per kg of raw material is 50 shillings. The cost per kg of raw material is 50 shillings. Information number or question number 1, define limiting factor. We were able to define, right? Roman 2, identify the limiting factor. So you'll have to first of all work out and check how many labor hours are provided. How many labor hours do we need? We need more than what has been provided. These are limiting factor. Then we go to information number 2, where we are talking about available material is 27,500. Working backwards to get what is needed for material, we have 15,000. What has been availed is more than what we need. There's a surplus. That is not a limited resource, right? Of course, when now advance and you get to SCCA, you'll find that in some questions, which of course is also again practical in the business environment, you might be having 2 limiting factors. Is that true? You might be having 2 limiting factors. For example, you want to study CPA, you don't have enough money. You struggle to get that money, your employer now again says you are not supposed to do CPA. So you are studying CPA while idling. You have 2 limiting factors here. Insufficient funds for CPA, and also the employer has a problem. So you have 2 limiting factors. In a real business environment, you might have maybe inconsistency, right? Inconsistency in terms of getting a reliable supplier. Number 2, you have also high government taxes. So you have 2 limiting factors that are affecting your business, right? So that is actually much possible. Great. So let's leave out the what if we were had to, right? And now proceed with what we have in our question. So have you been able to learn something in terms of identifying limiting factor? Have you been able to learn something with regards to that? Is it now clear? If I'm given 2 items, how do I know the limiting factor? We now know the procedure, right? Thank you. So let's do away with the raw material that was never given in our question. Right? Let's go with this one here that was never given in our question. And then we come back to this part. So how many labor hours do we need to produce one service or one to serve one client in the salon? How many labor hours? How many labor hours? 2, right? 2 hours. Gym, 3 hours, right? Barber shop, 1.5 hours. Great. Some people will also say that it is a trend. I saw it in the books that we have to convert this to equal, like 1 hour for each. How much would be the benefit if we were to apply 1 hour on both sides? That is not a standard thing. So you can decide to pick that 1 hour or just bring a common unit. For example, and I want you to listen and listen carefully, right? I want you to listen and listen carefully. This is what I mean. I can decide and adjust these hours to be equal to 5 hours for all of them, right? For the salon, for the gym, for the barber shop, I can decide to use 5 hours as the standard hours. In other words, this is what I mean. So I'll come here and say in the salon, right? In the salon, if the company utilizes 2 hours in the salon, right? 2 hours, then it is generating a profit of 100 shillings. Somebody is also having a question already. Why are you talking about a profit of 100 shillings and yet fixed costs are also given? What did we say about fixed cost? As you make decision, fixed costs should not appear anywhere. So we are making decision at this particular stage. Great. Now, I've said if 2 hours in the salon is equal to a profit of 100 shillings, right? Is equal to a profit of 100 shillings. Therefore, how many or how much will the company make if you were to use 5 hours? If 5 hours were to be available, how much will the company make as a profit? So we cross multiply. So 5 hours, right, times shillings 100 over 2 hours. So the hours will cancel that and it gives us what we call it gives us the profit. So how much profit will the company make if we use 5 hours in the salon? 250, right? Good. Still under that, if I were to apply the same in the gym, so let's see, in the gym, if 3 hours in the gym is making a profit of 110, right? How much will the company make if we are to dedicate 5 hours in the gym? So 5 hours, we take 5 hours times 110 over 3 hours. How much will the company make? 184, 275, 183.33. Let's go to the barber shop. Let's go to the barber shop. If how many hours? 1.5 hours in the barber shop is giving this company a profit of 50, then how much will the company make if 5 hours were to be dedicated to the barber shop? So we have 5 hours times 50 shillings over 1.5 hours. So how much will the company make? 166.667. Good. Great. I want you to listen and listen carefully, right? I want you to listen and listen carefully. If you are to rank these products, or these services based on profitability, what is the common item here? The common item is we have decided to see how 5 hours will be giving us profits if, right? Because in the salon, we have 2 hours. We made a profit of 100. In the gym, 3 hours, we made a profit of 110. In the barber shop, we have 1.5 hours, we made a profit of 50. At that point, we cannot say comfortably or confidently that gym is the most profitable service. No. Why? It actually took 3 hours. So we can give it a credit and say, okay, it is because of the more hours in the gym, that's why we have the highest profit. So no decision is being made at the contribution per unit level. No, we have to go further beyond that. So that is why we are converting these hours to equivalent unit of 5 hours. And now you are getting this. If I use 5 hours in the salon, I'm getting 250 as my profit. If I were to take the same 5 hours and take them to the gym, I'll be making a profit of 183.33. Right? And if I were to take the same 5 hours and now use it in the barber shop, I'll be making a profit of 166.667. Now that we have a common 5 hours item here, which one is the most profitable service? Then I will give my answer to come out. Which one is the most profitable? Salon, right? So salon is giving us 250. That is number 1, right? Number 2 will be assuming you've provided all the services in the salon and you still have some more hours left. Where will you utilize the excess hours? In the gym, number 2. Should you find out that you've served all the clients in the salon, you've served all the clients in the gym, and you still have some hours left, where will you take these hours to? To the last item, that is barber shop. That is number 3. Great. Somebody asked a very important question that we also need to listen to. I'm seeing you talking about the 5 hours here. It is not in the question. Where are you getting these 5 hours from? Right? In the exams, you can even decide to take 3 hours. You can decide to take 10 hours to be the common item there, right? So you say, if 2 hours is 100 shillings, how much will I get if 10 hours were to be used in the salon? 3 hours is 110. What if it is 10 hours? 1.5 is 50 shillings. What if it is 10 hours? In other words, you are looking for a common hour to be used for the 3. So this is what you can decide. I can decide to take 5, take 3, take 2. Now, if you go to most of these books of management accounting, they are normally converting it into 1 hour, right? So we have been able to make a decision. Let me just bring that ranking somewhere here. So we have said salon is the most profitable, number 1. Then number 2, gym. Then number 3, barber shop, which you can clearly see, according to this contribution per unit level, this one was having the highest. Look at now what it is having. It is number 2, not number 1. The one that was having 100 is now number 1. You've seen the effect. Let me do away with this. Right? Let me do away with this, and then we come back to 1 unit, which again is now the common idea in most of these books. In most of these books, they normally tell you, you start with a salon, right? And tell us if 2 hours is equal to 100, right? If 2 hours is equal to 100, how much will the company make if 1 hour was to be availed? So it is 1 hour times 100 over 2 hours. So how much will we have? 50 here, shillings. 50 in the gym. If 3 hours in the gym is equal to 110, 1 hour in the gym will be equivalent to how much? 1 hour in the gym will be equivalent to how much? 36.67. Then we finalize with the barber shop, right? Barber shop. If 1.5 hours is equal to shillings 50, 1 hour will be equivalent to how much? It is 1 hour times shillings 50 over 1.5 hours. So how much will we have? $33. 33.33. Can we rank them 1 hour as the common item? 1 hour. The other one was 5. Now we have 1 hour. 1 hour as a common item. So when I use 1 hour, I'm getting 30. If this same 1 hour is taken to the barber shop, I'm getting 33.33. And see, somebody prefer going to the salon to make 50 shillings. If you have extra hours, you can now visit the gym to make some good money. Should you have excess, you can now consider doing some barber just down. If we take this ranking, is it also following the same? Is it giving us the same thing? Somebody to confirm. Is it giving us the same thing? Thank you. Good. Let's go to that place. We have applied method number 2. Now, let's see how this method number 2 is normally done here without you knowing that you are applying method number 2. So once you have the limiting factor here per unit, can you give a contribution a limiting factor? Contribution by limiting factor. So you take 100 divided by 2. What will you have? Limiting factor. What will you have? What does it give you? 50, right? You take 110 divided by 3. it gives you what figure? Somebody there. Somebody to help us there. Somebody to help us there. What do we have? 100 divided by 2, 50. 110 divided by 3, what are you getting? Very blurry. Okay, let me work on that right away. Is it sorted now? Confirm that first. No. Is it sorted now? Are we good? No. It should be okay now. I've changed something. Yeah, it should be okay now. Thank you. Great. So when you take 110 divided by 3, what are you getting? 110 divided by 3. 110 divided by 3, what are you getting? Yes, 110 divided by 3. It will give you 36. The board is blurry, the voice is okay. Good. How about that? I hope it is okay now. So we have 36.67. 50 divided by 1.5. 50 divided by 1.5. 33.33. Then you now rank. So this one is number 1, number 2, number 3, right? So you can clearly see you are basically applying this method number 2 of using 1 hour term to be able to make the same thing under this part. Look at the ranking we did when we used 5 hours. It was also giving us the same ranking order. So when you mark your paper during marking and find out that you have decided to come up with 5 hours for all the 3 items, I'll be very happy because I will be able to see this person did not just copy notes but applied that concept properly, right? Yes. So you don't stop at the ranking point. Once you've been able to rank this product, you must go ahead and tell us which specific units are we going to produce for each product. So under ranking, you can see salon is the first item there, right? Number 1, the most profitable, right? So I'll be able to serve all the clients in the salon, which I believe were 3. Were they 3,000? All the clients in the salon, as per information number 3. I mean, number 2, we had 3,000. 3,000 clients are to be served in the salon, and each client we have to use 2 hours, right? 12. So that gives us a total of 6,000 hours. When you look for the balance, right? In other words, what we are doing here is called optimal production. Optimal production mix. What is the balance? The balance is 9,900 minus what we have used of 6,000, which gives us 3,000 hours. Let's go to the number 2, which is gym. So gym, how many clients were to be served in the gym? Only 1,000, right? Only 1,000. In the gym, we're supposed to use 3 hours per client. So 3 hours times 1,000 will give us 3,000, which is equal to what we have here. So we have 1,000 clients in the gym, and each we're supposed to use 3 hours. So that gives us a total of 3,000 hours. Do we have a balance? What is remaining? The 3,000 that was remaining here minus what we have used. The balance is 0, right? The balance is 9. Oh, sorry for that. Thank you for that. So this is 3,900. Yes, 3,900. 3,900. So here we have used this. So the balance cannot be 0. Thank you for that. The balance will be 3,900 minus 3,000. So that leaves us with 900 hours. Great. Now, because in the barber shop, which is number 3, we need 1.5 hours times 2,000 clients, right? 1.5 times 1.5. We need 1.5 hours per client times 1,500 will be 2,250. And since whatever is remaining is less than 2,250 hours, we now not use the approach we have used for salon, the approach you have used for the gym. No. We now get to number 3, that is a barber shop. We change our strategy. So we'll say if 1.5 hours is equal to 1 client, right? How many clients will we serve if we have a balance of 900 hours? How many clients will be served? So 900 hours times 1 client over 1.5 hours. So how many clients will be served in the barber shop? How many clients? 600, right? So we have 600 clients. Now we go to what we call actual production. Actual production or actual service delivery, we have salon, we have gym, we have barber shop, right? So salon, we served all the 3,000 clients. Gym, we served all the 1,000 clients. Barber shop, we managed to serve only 600 clients. Then, apart from the actual production, we talk about outsourced services or goods. Are we able to tell the specific service that was outsourced? Which one was outsourced? Have you ever gone to a shop, one shop or even 2 in town, you wanted 20 pieces of an item? They're telling you, sorry, our clients, we have 15 units here in the shop. Allow us to get the remaining 5 from the store. Have you ever been told such a thing? You go to a shop to purchase something, they tell you, you know what, we have 15 here, let us get some 5 from the store. Do you know the store they're referring to? The store is picking it from someone else and coming to sell it to you. That store they're normally referring to is what we are calling here outsourcing. They normally outsource it from somewhere and bring it very fast to you. So which particular product or service was outsourced? They outsourced what was not fully provided, that is barber shop. How many of them? You look at what was demanded by the market against what was provided. What was demanded was 1,500. They managed to actually serve only 600, right? They managed to serve only 600. The remaining 900, clients or goods were actually outsourced. So 900 was outsourced. For them, yes, 1500 minus what was provided under actual production. Good. Once you do this, you will go back to the question and check. Do you have any additional information telling you that whatever the company was not able to produce was outsourced externally at a cost of this amount per unit? Do we have that information where you are being told if they could not produce a product, it was to be outsourced at this cost per unit? Do we have that? We don't have it, right? We don't have it. So this one is just here, but it will not affect your workings. It will not affect your workings. Great. So once that is done, the next thing you'll be told is to give us the optimal production mix. Or resulting net profit from the optimal production mix. So optimal production mix is this actual production here. So what I'm doing as I disappear is what we call the resulting net profit. Resulting net profit. So we talked about some fixed cost being given. If fixed cost was not given in the question per unit, cumulatively, you are to take now the 90, you are having 90, 120, and 40. So I will take 90 times 3,000 plus 120 times 1,000 plus 40 times 600. What are you getting when you add all this? What are you getting when you add all this? The other one you're getting 450, but remember 450 was based on what you are anticipating. So the actual production that will happen is this. So what will you have? Under the assumption that they will be absorbed based on the actual production. So we call it fixed overheads absorbed. 120 times 1,000, 90 times 3,000, that is 270 plus 120,000. What are you getting? Are you still getting 450 or something less? 414, right? So that is the fixed overheads absorbed into the production mix under the assumption we are extending the concept of marginal costing. Good. Now, you only apply this if you have not been given the cumulative fixed cost, because what you have been given now in the question is the actual. This one here is absorbed. You only go for the absorbed if actual is not there. But because we have actual, we are not going to use this. So let's come here and get, now, the resulting net profit, somebody will be going back to calculate what we call or income statement. Why should I go back and say, okay, these are the actual units, so I want to take 3,000, look at it, 3,000 times 300 minus 3,000 times 140 minus 3,000 times 60. That is time wastage. Our interest is the resulting net profit. Please do this. We have contribution per unit, which depends on the units. So don't waste time again taking this by service fee, by material, by labor cost. No. Come here and give us what we call contribution from production. So we have 3,000 units that were actually produced, and the contribution is 100 shillings. We have 1,000 times 110 for the chip. Then we have 600 times 50 for the barber shop. So what are you getting as the total contribution from what was produced? Total contribution for 40,000, right? For 40,000. Good. You look at what was outsourced, right? Outsourced is barber shop, and we add 900, right? Good. If you are given, so let's work on the assumption that this one here was outsourced at, let's see, the profit for sales is 200, at 170. Let's say this service was outsourced at 170. If it was outsourced at 170, you come here and give us contribution from outsourced goods or services. Now, when this service is offered, the client will be paying this organization how much? 200 shillings per service, right? So we look at 200 shillings per service minus the amount they paid to the person who offered the service, right? The supplier. The supplier was paid 170. So when you take selling price minus purchasing cost, you get what we call contribution per unit, right? Good. So once you have contribution per unit, we multiply by the units, which happen to be 900 of them. If we were given the outsourcing cost, tunaelewana? If you are told whatever they could not produce was outsourced externally at 170. So can you take the difference between this? That will be 30. 30 by 900. 30 by 900 will be equivalent to what figure? 27,000, right? Then you give us now total contribution, which is equal to 467,000. Are you getting me under this part? I'm addressing this. It is not in this question, but maybe it will be in August sitting. If you are told what they could not produce was outsourced at 170, that is now the purchasing cost. So how do we get contribution per unit? It is selling price per unit minus purchasing cost per unit for you to get what we call contribution per unit. So 200 minus 170 is giving us 30 times what was outsourced in terms of units. It will give us the contribution from outsourced goods. Total contribution is 460 plus 27,000, 467. That is, remember, you've made a decision on which one is the most profitable. Number two, you've made a decision on the specific units to produce. Now, for you to get resulting net profit, the fixed costs has to come in, not as a tool of making decision, but just to get your final answer. All right? So the resulting net profit is equal to 67,000. Are you getting me up to that point? Are you getting me up to that point? Yes. Now, in our question, the examiner was not bothered about what the company could not produce, right? So, to that effect, we are not supposed to have any figure for the goods that were not produced. No outsourcing happened. No outsourcing happened. So contribution from outsourced, since that was not given, is a 0. So total contribution is 440,000. Then we less fixed cost of 400,000. What is the resulting net profit? As per this question. Kalui, what is the resulting net profit as per this question? It is 40,000. It is 40,000. Great. If you are to be given a chance of teaching this concept to someone, who did not attend this class, will you do it comfortably without any struggle? If you are to teach this concept to someone who was not in this particular session, will you do it comfortably and explain every single element? That is it. So we are on our way to passing this particular unit. Imagine if you have these sessions, right? If you have these sessions maybe 3 times in a week, and you're focusing on just past papers and the key areas, do you think you will fail this paper come August? You will not, right? So if you have not joined our classes, make sure you pay for the block revision, because time is moving and this is your rescue point. So make sure you join these classes, right? The good thing is, if you'll be sitting for more than one paper, all those papers, we have similar arrangement. So you register for management accounting, you register for FR, you register for FM, you get the same arrangement, right? So it is now upon you to decide on whether you join the team that will be passing CPA come August, or you still want to sit for this paper more than once. It is a decision you have to make right away. So the next question I'm seeing on my screen here is, how much is there? At what point did we answer Roman 1? So Roman 1 was talking about if the business were to offer salon services only, calculate the break-even point. Okay, the break-even point is basically a different concept under this. That is a total variable cost per unit. Total fixed cost divided by contribution margin. So you basically do away with salon, right? Then look at the variable cost for barbershop and the gym, right? So you already have the contribution, right? Contribution margin, so 110 plus 50. What will we have there? 110 plus 50, that is 160. That's the contribution margin. Do we have total fixed cost? Yes. Total fixed cost is given there. So the break-even point is equal to total fixed cost plus target profit over contribution margin. What's our contribution margin? So if they were to stop producing salon, or salon services, we have contribution. That is 160. Total fixed cost will not be affected. So total fixed cost is 400,000 plus 0 over contribution margin of 110 and 150. That is 160 if we are to deal with one product. But remember, these are multiple products. So the multiple products, we have to look at what we call the sales mix ratio. Which again takes another approach. Wow. Allow me to give you a brief explanation there. So we need what we call sales mix ratio. How do we get the ratio? We talked about for gym, it was 1,000. For barbershop, it was 1,500, right? So 1,000, that is units, 1,000, then 1,500. When you add these two, that is 2,500. So 1,000 over 2,500, 1,500 over 2,500. Then once you have the sales mix ratio, we go to what we call contribution margin. So we already have it here as 110, as 50. Can we get weighted average contribution margin? Weighted average contribution margin is the sales mix times contribution margin. So 1,000 over 2,500 times 110. What are you getting? Yeah, I'm getting that concept. I just want to explain to you. I want to combine something, the multiple products and a single product. So don't worry. So this will be 44. What about 1,500 over 2,500 times 50? What will you have? 30. So 44 plus 30, what are you getting? 74. Right? So summation of weighted average contribution margin is equal to 74. And we get the break-even point in units is equal to total fixed cost, right? So total fixed cost plus target profit over summation of weighted average contribution margin. So that will be 400,000 plus 0 over 74. What are we getting? I'm actually covering the whole topic. What will you have? 400,000 divided by 74. Round off to the nearest whole number, 5406. 5406 clients, because we are dealing with human beings. So if the company was to drop salon, somebody's getting me now. If the company was to drop salon as a service, they'll be remaining with how many services? How many services? 2. That is gym and barber shop. For them to break even, for them not to make any loss, they're supposed to serve a total of 5406 clients. These 5406 clients represents those who will be served in the gym and those who will be served in the barber shop. Are you able to give us the specific number of those who will be served in the gym from this 5406 and of course barber shop? We get that based on the sales mix ratio. So can we take 1,000 over 2,500 times 5406? Then you take 1,500 over 2,500 times 5406. What will you have? 2160. 2162. Okay. The balance? The balance will be 1,500 over 2,500 times 5406. 3244. 3244. And of course, it gives you back the 5406. That's how you get break-even point of which concept? Of multiple products. So multiple products, you use summation of weighted average contribution margin, not the contribution margin. Good. What about if it is a single product? Which again now was asked in the question, a single product. A single product, it is very simple. Break-even point in units is equal to total fixed cost plus target profit over contribution margin. Do we have target profit? No. It is only total fixed cost of 400,000 plus target profit of 0 over contribution margin. What is the contribution margin of salon? 100 shillings. How many clients are supposed to be served in the salon for the company to operate at break-even point? Four thousand clients. So you people have forced me to do the entire topic number 8 in 1 hour 30 minutes. Because topic number 8 is about break-even point of a single product. There is one here. Break-even point of multiple products, the one we've just done. Then the last part of it is limiting factor analysis, which we have captured here. So imagine we have done the law of topic number 8. We are done with topic number 8. Just like that. Yes, so that is it. So somebody was asking me a great question here about the cost of this block revision. Can I give you the secret? And now, this is where joining RCM becomes so advantageous. If you joined RCM for the normal classes, for example, if you paid the 5,200 or you paid the retake fee of 4,800 at some point, imagine you will not be charged for this block revision. So you'll be enjoying this for free, no additional payment. Whatever you paid at the beginning of the semester has guaranteed you a full access or free access to this block revision. You're not supposed to add anything for the units that you paid for, right? If you have not paid for any of them, then of course you now pay for the block charges and you access again these services. That is the bonus that RCM gives to its students. No additional payment. Whatever you paid initially will guarantee you access to the block revision of that particular unit. If you want to, of course, add another unit, you now pay for that separately. So the block revision here, if you want to pay for block revision only, RCM will charge you 3,000. If you want to block plus previous videos, right? If you want to access everything and you want to join like today, you will be charged 4,000. If you want last mile videos, so last mile videos is about 15 or 10 videos where they will be picking on key areas that are expected in the exams, right? So last mile videos, about 10 videos, you will be charged 1,500. And if you want last mile videos plus a revision kit of the same unit, you are given a discount and of course you pay 2,400. Right? Yes, that's what we have. So block, pure block, 3,000. Block plus previous classes videos, that is what has been done for the entire semester, you pay 4,000. Last mile, only 1,500. Last mile plus a physical copy of revision kit, only 2,400 shillings. And you get access to all that until the last day of this semester, which will be on 20th of August 2026. And that will be on a Thursday. Yeah. The block revision will be happening at what time? Of course, in the evening. Remember, we also, majority of the students here are those who are working. So we cannot have those blocks during the day to disadvantage these great people. No, they'll be as per the timetable. But of course, this one is like a free session, which again, we felt like everyone should be able to access and join if they have free time. The good thing is that if you pay for management accounting, this video will be posted for your access. So you don't need to worry. It will be available there for you, right? You'll be able to access it under the normal folders for this particular semester. So I think that is enough for today, unless there's a question for me. And to that effect, engaging these numbers will be of great help. They'll be able to give you more information. They'll be able to give you more information. These great people here. Just engage any of them and you'll be assisted instantly. So the pay bill for the payments, right? Pay bill is 62,42,839. Account number, you indicate the service. Do you need management accounting block? So you just indicate MA block or MA last mile or FR last mile or company law last mile or block. So that is what we have for this. Thanks for your time. Have a blessed day and let's meet some other time.